Welcome in everybody to another episode of Mario Kart Tour. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's episode, I'll be taking a look at the ranked results for week 1 in the Mario vs. Luigi Tour. Afterwards, I'll be turning my sights to week 2. There's going to be a new pipe, a new ranked cup. We're going to talk about that and all eyes to the future for the 3rd anniversary and beyond. If that sounds good with all of you, please share your support with the channel by leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for that support. Okay, so we have 20,000 in the Baby Peach Cup. Now let's pull up Lakitu and see where things shook out for week 1. All right, the ranking results are on display. How did we do in this one? That first place finish, that's back-to-back first places. Look at that. The gold standard cart. This is the cart that Gold Mario races around in for the Coin Rush track, right? So it's one that we're familiar with, and it's finally here. All right, also picked up rubies and cart cap tickets. Those are the ones that we're often looking for, right? All right, so this is how the group ended up. We can see I ended up with 1.6K in the clear over 2nd place. These were my runs. Luigi Raceway T, right on the money with what I was anticipating to get with a double coin frenzy there. 34K. If we had a triple frenzy in that run, which was possible since we had that second frenzy early in lap 2, could have gone, to 36K and beyond with this loadout, but still quite a good run, and that largely propelled me to this placement. The Ghost Valley 2, that was so much fun actually. I didn't even get an ideal run on this, but I had a brilliant lobby with multiple coin boxers, a dash ring character. This was a single boombox, so just the single item, not a frenzy. And it was a banana frenzy at the last item box, so no hits, but that was still better than pretty much any other frenzy run I could put together. 15.7K, we definitely could have gone a lot higher on that had the frenzy luck cooperated, but such is the way in Mario Kart Tour, right? And then Mushroom Gorge we had coin in one of those pesky super horn frenzies to saddle us with lower potential there, but look, we didn't have to grind too hard this week. The ranked algorithm was much more favorable than usual. I have to say, having the rewards structured for a top 3 finish, the group was very fair. This was our top opponent, and certainly, their loadouts are much, much more competitive. I mean, definitely the Mushroom Gorge, our score, by comparison to what, many of you out there in the audience could perform. But, if you take a look at the stats on these players, tier 55 is their max highest score, 27K. So let this be a lesson to each and every one of you out there. You can get to tier 55 and not score above 27K, right? I mean, that 25K was nearly their high score on the entire account. And when you're operating and playing ranked mode the way that I share here on the channel, these pairings are largely set up based on the understanding that I have of the game and the execution of applying how you conduct your runs, how you build your inventory. This is all stuff that you can follow along with and implement into your own gameplay experience so that you can have very friendly and enjoyable time in Mario Kart Tour and still succeeding, right? You can succeed at any kind of investment threshold that you want to out there, and that's what's really important, is crafting and controlling your own experience. You have the final say, and it means a lot to be able to share that information with all of you and see you succeed in your own game. All right. So login bonus day number 8, more coins, 3,000 coins. Who else is loving these login bonuses? They are so good. So here we go. Now let's take a look at that week 2 pipe. We have the Boom Ass debuting in the spotlight, and they'll be joined by Peach Yukata and Daisy Yukata. Look at that. And then we also have a pair of Sakura and Festival carts here. But we got to start off with the new item, the Boom Mass. I know many of you in the audience will be pulling for this glider, and that's because the Boo fans have been deprived for character representation, and this is a very nice looking substitute for that. So wish you all the best of luck if you're pulling for this specific item. For the rest of the people looking for value, there's not much to signal in the way of this being a future superstar. No more than any other item that has been brought into a pipe recently. Starts off with 9 courses. The composition of that is going to be mixed. It does have a large concentration of newer courses. These are all courses that have been brought in during 2022. So this doesn't have old retro value, no DK Pass, no DK Summit, and the likes. So in terms of its future representation, it looks like it's going to be in the cycle for quite a while. But in the way of what does its future buffs look like, it's going to be competing with a lot of other items that have been brought to the game. So forecasting that kind of value hasn't been as clear as it was in year 2. Now, taking a look at the other items, we have the Yukata ribbon, which this one is probably the one standout other than the new item, and not in a very significant way. It has a lot of courses, but this is a lot of nitro value. If we take a look here, you see the Amsterdam Drift T, the Los Angeles Laps 2T, Singapore Speedway, as well as the Ninja Hideaway RT down there in the level unlocks. We also have the New York Minute 4RT London Loop. So this thing is loaded with city value, but believe it or not, despite all of that, it still has a nice selection of retro courses which filter in and out of every tour, enough that it appears in optimal combinations for glider combos sized 6 and 7 at level 8 specifically though. So it's off the mark entirely in terms of level 6. What does that mean, right? Because we're not trying to just in the moment have optimal coverage at every given time, right? So at any given time, you're just looking to craft your inventory in a way that can have the most robust kind of coverage possible for the least amount of tickets you can spend. That's the objective here. So the Yukata ribbon, for very likely many of you, could be that glider, but there's a lot of options that present similar, if not better, course coverage overall, but this one is in that conversation, so that's why it's worth mentioning. And then we have the Festival Girl here, Jump Boost plus very tiny hitbox size, so this is very good for multiplayer, but course coverage, you see the comparison between this and the Yukata ribbon there, much quicker scroll, and this is largely nitro value, so this is a very irrelevant cart, unfortunately, outside of multiplayer. And then this one, Sakura Quickshaw, which is quite nice looking, has a pretty decent amount of courses, but this doesn't have anything of particular note in terms of its metagame coverage overall. So it did have its heyday in ranked representation, but never really manifested into becoming a powerhouse cart. And then we have the drivers. Daisy Yukata is year 1. She debuted in the Summer Festival. And we can see here a lot of nitro value to result of that. So she's not really seen in optimal combinations or anything, but she does pair favorably with other Daisy characters. So if you are in that Daisy character fandom, she serves you well in that regard, and that's very good. But then we have Peach Yukata, who, a lot of people pulled for her in the 2.5 anniversary, thinking, okay, they're releasing this boomerang Mario character in week 1, right? You had the giant banana pink Shy Guy in that special pipe, and then this was kind of like the ugly duckling, although she's very beautiful. So has nothing to do with her appearance, mind you, but in the way of that Giga Bob-omb skill, right? That's the ugly duckling here. And, projecting that forward. But the thing is, year 3 value didn't progress at all like year 2 did, where, some of these harder to come by drivers received additional ranked representation. That didn't really pan out to be that way because there was such an influx of new characters and plus skills to boot. So the concentration of items that was being buffed for each tour was very competitive, and they kind of reverted back to a model I describe it as an elliptical pattern. How it's not repeating the cycle of year 1 is a little bit different than year 1, but it definitely bears resemblance to how those buffing cycles operated. And that's something that, I've been talking about for quite a long time and advising players on how they form their inventory around ranked mode and whatnot. But Peach Yukata has been a major player for Intenion, who is one of the top ranked free-to-play players out there. So even though it didn't live up to its initial hype by some, it has still been quite a powerful driver in ranked mode. And we can see it's getting more representation in this tour, so that's very good. As always, you might want to know, should you pull? I'm going to say that's a hard no unless you're really into this for the characters or that glider. Otherwise, keep saving those rubies up and enjoy the anniversary tour, and in particular, the spotlight shops that will be the wave of the future for Mario Kart Tour. Next up, let's take a look at the second week of ranked mode. We have the Luigi Cup, right? So let's see what the loadouts are. For Daisy Cruiser, well, we have that Daisy Yukata who's represented there. We also have some Miis and the aforementioned Samurai Mario, so quite a bit of options. Coin box overlap here with Tide Daisy and Gold Charge and Chuck. So those of you who've been polling for the coin box drivers are well taken care of on this course. In this situation, I'd be looking to go in with the Mii, and top shelf, you'd need one of these recent cards that have been in the spotlight pipes, and I believe we have the Sunny Surf Sailor there. That's the one standard high-end that you can obtain for this top shelf, which you can see I am lacking here. So I'd have to go with the middle shelf cart. I'm also lacking a top shelf glider as well, but we have that blooper wingtip. Whether or not this purchase is worth a single course, many of you may want to go ahead and do that. Certainly very fair of them to offer that up in the selection since it is not a standard high-end. Your other options here are a lot of recent gliders, but we do have that home field glider that is a bit older and it's been featured several times, and otherwise those 8-bit gliders are very, very powerful, and that's beginning overlap with the boom masks. So if you are invested into those 8-bit gliders, the boom mask loses a little bit of its luster there. I have the Manta glider in the middle shelf, so this loadout is not so good. You can see why I went into ranked mode in week 1, and also because I didn't have to make any ticket investments in that either. Luigi Raceway R, we have, look at that, Toadette Explorer is coming in good. Also have the Knight Luigi if you're invested into him for the boomerang. Otherwise, we see that Yoshi Gold Egg picked up a Coinbox exclusive track here, and then a couple of daisies and a couple of doctors there. Top shelf, the Yellow Off-Roader continues its march of glory here, and it's met with the gold standard cart. So that's an unfortunate buff for the gold standard, and in its debut no less. And this is where its peak value, right? Those ranked reward carts that are given away for multiple placements for all the tiers definitely don't pan out too well there. And the other options that you have are a selection of carts here. I'd say that the best one is the B-Dash or MK2 there. Very strong, right up there with the Yellow Off-Roader. I'd say if it wasn't for the Yellow Off-Roader getting this track, that would have been a pretty monumental buff for the MK2 there. And then Glider, the Wonderful Wings continues its powerful climb there. And the other gliders are going to be ones that you're going to have to get from the pipe. So no standard high ends in the selection here. So that would be my loadout. This one is looking like a decent loadout. And it all comes down to what the final track looks like. Ghost Valley 2T. This is a coin box track. So we have King Bob-omb Gold. We have the Question Block Mii suit, who has been widely touted about as one of the most powerful Miis. Certainly given it a lot in the way of unique courses for the moment. Many of them being RT courses, so it's not tied to the standard variants of those. And they see less representation, particularly this year. In year 2, the RTs kind of made a comeback, but not so much in year 3. And then what else do we have here? Peach Yukata, as well as King Boo, Luigi's Mansion got buffed to a new coin box track, right? So in this case, I would be looking at King Bob-omb Gold, since he's heavyweight, and very similar in terms of bonus points boost between that and the Question Block Mii Racing suit. But in a situation like that, you would favor the larger size hitbox because it's going to pick you up a few extra actions. Here I would be going with the pipe cart because larger size hitbox and jump boost plus on a trick track is also beneficial. And bottom shelf glider. So this is where the free-to-play feels take full effect, right? We have this swooper there for that very purpose. So I'm very fortunate to have played in week 1. If your loadouts look similar to mine, don't worry about pulling on the pipe. It's not worth your rubies. Think about the larger picture when you're crafting your inventory. You know, just take it easy this week and plan for better things to come. With that all said, let's go into today's challenge and fire those free pipes for week 2. Alrighty, we have Larry here. We just pulled a Larry, right? Will the Larry from the week 1 bring us good luck in the week 2 pipes? I don't know. I would much prefer to defer my luck to those of you polling on that week 2 pipe, because I really know how much that matters to all of you, and I wish you all the best luck in the world. So you know, this is one where I'd be happier than ever just to see a few normals and you know, apply that luck to where it really matters to some of you out there. All right. Ooh. So I have to say, it's been very nice in this rally tour. I do like how friendly it is in terms of getting the team tokens, especially even on multiplayer. It just seems like every single race you do collects the tokens. So we are going to have a very fun tour preview for that 3rd anniversary tour, in which case I'll be firing a whole slew of those token shop pipes. We might even fire them all by that time. So that will be really fun. Look forward to that and discussing some of the hottest topics in Mario Kart Tour, especially given a new set of information that we'll no doubt see. A lot of the speculation going into that is, what will these Miis be, right? We have the Castle Mii, which is the end of each level in the classic Mario Kart, in the classic Mario experience. What could the skill be on that? I mean, you could just say something like Bob-omb Cannon, right? But I know coin box is always thrown around, especially with the white one, right? The recolor. And it is likely going to be a recolor, because it's been pointed out by many in the community, shout out to Delta for this, that when they've introduced ones in the past, like the Chain Chomp Mii racing suit, which is one of those reverse facing head ones, that the mask is actually slightly larger. I should say the helmet is slightly larger. But this one is the same size as that original one, so it really does seem like it's a recolor. And you know, a lot of people are wondering if we're going to see a Platinum Mii with another plus special skill. I mean, it could certainly happen, but they're not going to presumably increase the tier, so it's not going to be like some kind of a tier 90 reward. It's going to be released in the 3rd anniversary, and then what kind of a skill will they be giving it? Likely be a ranked reward, because they did rank rewards in year 2's anniversary. And then, you know, are they going to give away another question block Mii racing suit just for that? I don't know. I mean, that's your guess is as good as mine on that. As I say, that's beyond the scope of what I feel comfortable prognosticating there. So let's see, what did we pull here? It's going to be a green pipe. 5 item tickets. I have to say that every single day this tour, outside of the 2 days that I did recording, where I got 3 rubies, it's been item tickets, and that's not been fun. Not fun at all. So, yeah. Anyway, at least here we get an actual item, right? Shy Guy takes him up to a little bit closer to level 6. Second one up, another greenie. This is good. Give the freebies away to the people who want those boom masks, right? So there we go. A second normal. Let's go. 3 normals right now. Or a Diddy Kong, right? Okay, it's a super at least. They were good to us. Koopa for a turtle dude and the tireless work he's been putting in, not just to the ticket optimizer tool that he recently released, accessible on our Discord server, link will be in the description below, but he's also running some data on some other existential questions in the world of Mario Kart Tour currently, such as course coverage versus scoring potential and the implications for that of what is truly optimal use of your resources. That's information that we'll be talking about down the road once that data has been fully analyzed. And with all that out of the way, I wish you all the best of luck in the second week of the Mario vs. Luigi Tour. Really looking forward to seeing what the 3rd anniversary has to show us. And then it's a whole new ball game after that 3rd anniversary, is it not, folks? With that, I wish you all the best, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Take care, everybody.